We are here for you near Porto with the brand new Smart number 5 in the Brabus variant, and today we're thrilled to take our first drive together with you, putting this car through its paces as we explore the scenic roads around Porto. The Brabus edition delivers an impressive 475 kilowatts of maximum power, over 700 newton meters of torque, and is equipped with a robust battery pack of 100 kilowatt hours gross. Let's see how it handles the challenge and performs on the road. With an all-electric range of over 500 kilometers expected to be achieved as a result of its impressive capabilities, I'd say take a quick moment to check and see if you're already part of the Simply Electric community. If not, we'd be thrilled if you'd support us with your subscription. And now let's dive into the brand new Smart #5. Brabus. We kicked off with the Smart #5 in the Brabus edition, which starts at around 45,900 euros. We already released a static video a few days ago featuring the premium variant. The premium variant is the one we recommend if you're looking for a rear-wheel drive with a larger battery. That one starts at 55,900 euros. I've also included the link to that video in the description, and I'd highly recommend checking it out because that's where you'll find all the essential details, insights, and a closer look at the car's features and performance. Everything about the Smart #5, including technical specs, interior space, trunk volume, and front capacity, all the details you need to know. All of that you'll discover in this video, and it's a great starting point to potentially move forward. With this video showcasing the Brabus edition, today we have the exceptional opportunity to spend a full 7 hours experiencing the Brabus #5. That means we're heading out on a scenic loop around Douro. Douro is situated roughly an hour's drive east of Porto, if I had to describe its geographical position. It's a truly stunning region, absolutely perfect for this kind of drive. And within those 7 hours, we'll get to experience it pretty much like here on the country road. With its beautiful winding stretches, we'll also see it on the highway and, of course, a bit in the urban environment as well, so that we can truly get a full feel for the variety of the journey. I believe we'll get a very, very good overview of the performance that a Brabus #5 in the Brabus variant has to offer. To give you a first glimpse, we'll explore its capabilities across different driving conditions and environments. How the car works. We will of course make an effort to get a test vehicle to us in Mecklenburg later on. That way, we can provide you with a consumption test, including a charging check, and of course, take it out on German roads with its top speed. The Brabus can reach a top speed of up to 210 kilometers per hour, while the other models go up to 200 kilometers per hour. We'll also experience its full performance properly. Then, of course, we'll also do the acceleration check, and we definitely want to do that with you today. But first, we'll need to find the perfect spot along our route to make it happen smoothly, safely, and effectively. That means if you've got any questions related to the #5, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We'll tackle them in the next video featuring the test car. Of course, we'll make sure to get back to you with answers at the latest. And if we can address them right away, we'll naturally do so in the comments, as we always do. We're curious, how do you personally perceive the #5? The Brabus #5 is available in several model variants. It begins with the Pro version, equipped with an LFP battery offering 74 kilowatt hours of net capacity, starting at 45,900 euros. Then there's the version with a 250 kilowatt drive on the rear axle. This variant is essentially the base entry point, offering some advantages but also a few notable limitations to consider. The downside is that it can only fast charge at a maximum of 150 kilowatts, which means the charging time takes around 30 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. Additionally, the motor isn't quite as efficient as those found in the larger battery variants available, because, for instance, it lacks a sufficiently robust cooling system, which significantly restricts its overall performance capability. That's how they explained it to us in a bit more detail during the differentiation part of the presentation. Starting with the Pro S at 50,900 euros, you always get the 800-volt battery pack with 100 kilowatt hours gross, 94 kilowatt hours net, and an electric motor with 267 kilowatts, which also features the corresponding cooling system and significantly higher efficiency. Both vehicles, the Pro and Pro S, still do not have a DOT. Heat pump on board though, that will only be available starting with the premium variant. This premium variant starts at 55,900 euros. We've already shown those to you. They come with matrix LED headlights, a Sennheiser sound system, and so on. Actually, we felt like the best performance was clearly in the rear-wheel drive segment, where it truly excelled and left a strong, lasting impression. At the same price, you also get the Pulse. The Pulse then additionally has, so to speak, a motor on the front axle and all-wheel drive, delivering 425 kilowatts of system power, of course, significantly more power. There's also an edition variant available right from the start, which is also quite cool for 56,900 euros. And then comes the Brabus we're driving today, where you essentially have 475 kilowatts of system power and can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds. Hitting 100 kilometers per hour, which I believe in the all-wheel drive segment offers the best value for money, right, Stefan?
That's definitely something worth considering.
Exactly. The Premium Pulse Edition and naturally the Brabus model as well, all of them come equipped with a heat pump. That's also always crucial because naturally, with the large battery, you're equipped with a thermal management system that allows you to independently heat the battery for optimal charging performance. By selecting a charging station, the car does it automatically. Or if you plan a long-distance route with charging stops integrated, it will always stop at the charging stations. It also brings the battery to the optimal charging temperature, so you essentially avoid cold gate in winter and heat gate in summer, because Smart ensures everything is perfectly conditioned and ready for efficient charging at all times and in all conditions. Because the goal in this #5 is always that, especially with the large 800-volt systems, you can recharge the battery from 10 to 80% in just about 15 minutes. Before we dive into the driving characteristics, we absolutely have to take a moment to discuss the infotainment system that's featured here in the #5 once more. I have here a very, very good augmented reality head-up display paired with an excellent infotainment screen, which is not only highly legible but also effortlessly provides all the essential information as an added layer of convenience, enhancing the overall driving experience seamlessly. You have the option to simply swipe with 3 fingers to effortlessly transfer the elements you've got, so to speak, from this central infotainment screen over there. Essentially, you can swipe them left, so to speak, into the bike display or right across into the passenger display. While the passenger, when Stefan swipes over, can also very, very well enjoy movies, series, or a truly extensive and diverse range of other entertainment options during the ride with headphones, of course. Yes, what I think is absolutely essential in a car designed for 2025 is naturally the ability to mirror your smartphone here without any hassle. So we have the option to use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly, and we want to try it out a bit with you together with the Sennheiser sound system to see if it really rocks or, well. And yeah, I also really like that Dolby Atmos is on board as well. It's such a cool system that we already kind of demonstrated to you in the Xpeng. It's definitely a feature that adds a whole new dimension to the driving experience, especially when combined with the premium audio setup. And Sennheiser has consistently earned its reputation for delivering top-tier audio quality, hasn't it?
Yes, very good. I like it too. Nice room acoustics as well.
And what's really, really nice here with the Sennheiser system and its, 22 speakers, clear highs, clear mid-tones, a nice kick bass, but not that boomy rumble that just rattles everything through your head, right?
Bam.
So go ahead and do it. Have a ton of fun. Plus, you can, of course, seamlessly integrate Google Maps right here into the screen, or alternatively use any of the other apps you might want to bring into the car. We're going to use the cobblestones here to test the suspension a bit, and over here, nothing rattles at all. It's smooth and stable, just as you'd expect from a well-tuned system, perfectly designed to handle rough roads without any discomfort or issues whatsoever. Nothing creaks here. It stays nice and firm, yet comfortable, as it should for the sporty variant. A Brabus, after all. You drive right over it, and it's pleasant, isn't it?
It doesn't jolt your back too much, even with a slight wave-like motion, but it's still comfortable.
So, the suspension here is already handling its first tough test quite well. Let's try a launch. Stefan, give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go now.
There he goes. 50 factorial. 90, 100, and of course we'll also do the brake test here on the hill and see what our GPS measured in the draggy. Stefan, so what do we have? We have 0 to 50 in 2.16, 0 to 60 in 380 seconds, 2.59, 0 to 100 in 4.28. The factory claim is 3.8 seconds. We're driving uphill here, we have a wet road, and we're carrying a good 2.2 tons plus Stefan. Plus me, we're up here on the summit, and he just manages to beat the factory claim by a solid 0.4 seconds, which is pretty impressive.
Total.
What on earth is going on here in Brabus mode?
Properly insane. By the way, from 100 to 0, it took 3.3 seconds on a road that was slightly slippery. The road's a bit wet. Hats off to that.
So, seriously now, guys, the only thing you can't judge us on is that we've driven 57.7 kilometers with you and have an average consumption in these mountains with all the ups and downs. Yeah, although we've really been driving uphill for a good stretch now, starting from 44.2 kilowatt hours for every 100 kilometers driven. So you're definitely taking a pretty hefty sip from that 800 volt system here, aren't you?
That's definitely very ambitious. No doubt about it whatsoever.
Here in Portugal, we're driving a bit like over the Alps along a beautiful and winding country road, and Portugal isn't exactly known for having the best asphalt, at least that's what I've heard around here. It's nicely up and down, often quite bumpy, but I have to say the Smart handles it all extremely comfortably, even with its firm suspension and sporty feel.
Yes, great suspension, well tuned too.
And especially when we now, for example, take a tight corner, we still have this slippery surface here. Everything is it's probably still wet. Maybe it drizzled or rained a bit this morning. And here you can just safely and comfortably take quick corners with the Smart number 5 Brabus. It's really fun to drive, and even in comfort mode, which we've been in most of the time except for the acceleration test, of course in Brabus mode, I have to say it has a decent punch. The handling feels smooth and responsive, and it's impressive how well it performs even on this kind of surface. You can feel the 475 kilowatts from the twin electric motors extremely clearly, and especially when you do a kickdown, it just launches forward. Whoa, the throttle? I need to step on the brake pedal just a little bit once more, and now we're driving straight back into that thick, dense cloud layer up ahead. Let's take the S-curve here once more just a bit to demonstrate how it effortlessly and smoothly glides through such a sharply defined curve, handling it with precision, ease, and truly remarkable finesse and control. Watch closely. Let's take a nice little detour off the road here and power up this mountain road, and of course, with the Brabus and its 475 kilowatts, it does so extremely well and extremely quickly. The chassis is just truly brilliant. We're seeing minimal roll and tilt movements here, and the car itself feels incredibly stable on the road. You can definitely drive the Brabus number 5 very quickly and sportily here in Portugal, of course, making it an absolute joy to handle and truly exhilarating. Driving through, well, I almost said the Alps, but they're not actually the Alps, right? Just driving through the mountains, right? Mountains, you know? Yeah?
You've really expanded the road up here, haven't you?
Yeah, sensational, like real whisper-smooth asphalt. Now we're kind of almost up above the tree line here, aren't we? Pretty wild, huh?
Wind turbines here.
How does it even get here?
Yeah, someone put it there.
It's unbelievable. And what we've also set up here is, once again, the Brabus #5 for you. Here, of course, very, very beautiful in white. You have various colors to choose from. You can also choose the roof color yourself. We got the white car, and you can always recognize the Brabus on one hand by the modified front section here. Here we have the nice R curtain, which are supposed to direct the air around the wheel arches, and you always have these red accents. Of course, what you get with the Brabus are also matrix LED headlights, standard, just like with the Premium. That's why these are our two preferred configurations. What I really like about Brabus is the wheels. They're unmistakably Brabus, aren't they?
Absolutely. Nothing here is overly embellished or anything like that, just nice and sporty. A solid braking system at the back, as it should be.
255/40R21, featuring a stylish spoke wheel design, beautifully finished in that sophisticated black satin matte appearance. Then also featuring high-gloss polished surfaces. Here on the sill, you can see very, very clearly once again the striking Brabus silhouette. Here, they intentionally focused on integrating a wide array of Brabus design features into the Smart, ensuring it distinctly stands apart from the other Smart #5 models in a truly unique and visually impressive way. The same goes for the rear section, which again features that typical Brabus look, complete with the Brabus logo, of course, so that everyone immediately, not just the enthusiasts, recognizes it. as well as the Brabus at the 5 hashtag, can differentiate. The same design as the front is also mirrored in the taillights, and these are elements that you'll find repeatedly throughout the car, whether it's in the headrests, the air vents, or even the sliders for the ventilation. So these very small details, I have to say, Smart has really put a hell of a lot of love into the design of the Brabus 5. And even in the door trim, you'll find a Brabus, of course, the finest, most beautiful microfiber, as the Spanish would say, Alcantara, then paired with a kind of, well, carbon look, but kept in black, which I also like very, very much. And also, throughout the interior, the red stitching keeps reappearing consistently, Alcantara, naturally, even extending to the steering wheel. Alcantara on the headliner as well, which I believe is mega, mega crucial for some enthusiasts. Alcantara in the center console and also on the seats. So you really have to say, a Brabus has a lot of unique features and not least, of course, also here, very distinctive. Very nicely on the headrest with the Brabus logo matching the red stitching, all in the same color tone, and then the seat belts as well. So you really have to admit, a Brabus is just the absolute pinnacle of the top, isn't it?
Definitely, it's really quite sporty.
For many of you who want to use the hashtag 5 in an urban setting with a length of 4.69 meters, of course the turning circle is also important, and it's an impressive 11.20 meters. That's a top performance for such a large, long electric SUV. And you can really smoothly and very swiftly maneuver around Stefan with the Brabus, no problem at all. But it's kind of controlling itself here. I can't really break out or do anything because it's all being managed a bit through the ESP system automatically. Just as important as the turning circle, or perhaps even more crucial, is of course how you can park with, let's say, a number 5. And in the higher trim levels, you'll receive maximum assistance to make the process as smooth and intuitive as possible. For example, we've got these handy guidelines where the tire path is clearly marked in blue, making it super easy to see exactly how to maneuver into the space. Let's go forward and back once more to get a better feel for it and ensure precision, where something still happens. And you'll have the absolute maximum level of assistance here as well, especially when you're carefully and precisely maneuvering into the parking spot, so to speak. You can, of course, view the whole thing in 3 dimensions as well. You have the classic bird's eye view, the aerial perspective, also right here in the hashtag 5, naturally included. You can easily switch here to get a view of the tires as well, so you can take a closer look at your stylish Brabus 21 inches, of course, somewhere in the setup, nowhere scratched. And when you drive out, you'll have the guidelines again in case you can't see or know where you're going. A 360-degree camera system, most can do that now, definitely. And the hashtag 5, of course. We've taken a drive here on the Portuguese highway, and for you, we've also activated the assistance systems to give you a closer look at how they perform in real-world driving scenarios. Started means we've activated the steering assist, lane keeping assist, and distance control. The adaptive cruise control is, of course, included as well. I'll let it take over for a moment. Hands off the wheel naturally, and it handles the curve at 100 kilometers per hour very smoothly. It also keeps the center of the lane perfectly, even with some uneven surfaces, and corrects itself very effectively. Unfortunately, we don't have capacitive steering detection here on the wheel, so we always have to make a slight steering input. Capacitive detection would mean that just having 3 or 4 fingers on the wheel would be enough for it to recognize it. And that we're paying attention here, we still have to make slight adjustments to the steering wheel, which is something that could definitely be improved in future models perhaps. Now, as we take this left curve, it's maintaining the center of the lane very smoothly, and that's essential if you want to rely on partial autonomy in the Brabus Hersteller 5 for those longer trips, allowing it to assist you more seamlessly and comfortably along the way. What we don't have on board apparently is a lane change assistant, but it could also be that it's just not activated yet. We're dealing with a pre-production vehicle here, so certain features aren't fully operational just yet. That means I'll need to manually take care of the lane change myself for the time being. And then, of course, by the market launch on May 23rd and also on May 21st, there will be the master update for the sale where all the necessary features will be activated starting from that specific point. Updates will then again take place here in the infotainment area and in the assistance systems, ensuring that the hashtag 5 can really roll out smoothly and effectively into the market. But now on the highway, I really have to say it's a great semi-autonomous support. It does relieve me quite a bit, of course. As the driver, I naturally keep an eye on the speed as well. It's managing that quite nicely right now. We have a sharper right curve here. Again, it's reducing speed quite nicely, just a bit. The speed maintains a proper and steady distance to the car ahead of us, and it's steering smoothly and precisely, keeping itself perfectly centered in the lane here as well. When you're traveling with the hashtag 5 and naturally also have the 800-volt system on board, which is available starting from the Pro S, you always have the option to manually adjust or override settings as needed. As I mentioned earlier, you'll find it right here in the energy menu, so to speak, for easy access and control. Starting the battery before conditioning. I truly think that's fantastic. Not all vehicles have that feature, but it's extremely valuable because you don't always need to input a route to your fast charging station. Instead, you can simply manually activate the battery preconditioning, whether it's summer or winter, which is super convenient. The car takes care of everything automatically as soon as a charging station is chosen as the destination or when a route is planned that includes charging stations along the entire trip. Then it would always bring the battery to the fastest possible charging performance at the respective charging point. That's factory configured here at up to 400 kilowatts. Yesterday, during a live demonstration at the hotel as part of the press event, we saw it firsthand in action on a 400 kilowatt Alpatronic charger that it even managed to reach 419 kilowatts and in an impressive 15 minutes. Charge the battery from 10 to 80%. That was absolutely incredible to witness firsthand.
That was truly impressive, yes, no doubt.
And if you really consider it and put it in perspective with the price, starting from 50,900 euros, it's actually only half as costly as vehicles that usually can do this, such as the Porsche Taycan, for instance, which naturally also delivers similar charging times for a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack. So in that regard, the Smart number 5 is right up there at the top when it comes to charging performance, and I'd argue it firmly secures the absolute leading position within its price category. It's not even in the same league as the 250 kilowatt models, honestly, which are shown for 5 seconds in the Tesla Model Y or so, and not even with the 275 kilowatts in the Xpeng G6, though there will likely be a 400 kilowatt update for that as well. So now I believe all the Asian providers are fiercely competing for the maximum charging performance. That's a good thing. Good, because many people who are still driving combustion engines today say, man, if I could charge an electric car like that someday, just like I refuel my combustion engine, then of course I'd make the switch, because then I'd also get to enjoy the instant torque, the impressive power, and naturally, the quiet and smooth ride. Thanks to the absence of a combustion engine, which makes driving so much more enjoyable. Let's go ahead and measure the interior noise levels with you at 50 kilometers per hour. 57, 58 decibels, that's truly an excellent value. Let's go ahead and accelerate up to 70 kilometers per hour. "59, 60, 61 decibels. That's still a fantastic value. Of course, we'll also do the window check with you here, and I have to say, it's a nice thick double glazing, meaning 2 panes connected with the film in between for extra insulation. We'll go ahead and accelerate now to 100 kilometers per hour, and naturally, we'll measure the interior noise levels with you at that speed. There's still a small curve ahead, so let's keep it steady as we move forward and maintain our focus on the road conditions. We'll just wait a moment longer. Now we've reached 100 kilometers per hour. 64, 65 decibels, that's still an extremely good value at such high speeds. But I must say, Smart has really made impressive advancements in improving sound insulation and significantly reducing interior noise levels, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's genuinely good. Double glazing. Absolutely right, yeah. Really impressive.
And you can definitely notice it yourself, I think, when other vehicles overtake you or come towards you, that it's nice and quiet, you're really well shielded. And that, of course, is perhaps best paired with a great podcast. Look, Stefan, check out this reservoir. Show the viewers quick. Over here. We're driving through this stunning landscape in Portugal. And especially when we go on a road trip like today, testing the car thoroughly, listening to a podcast, listening to great music through the Sennheiser sound system. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic when there's no outside noise interfering at all, isn't it? Just perfect, really.
Absolutely perfect, isn't it?
So I think it's also a good transition to give you a recommendation, even though we're not quite at the end of the video yet, to maybe stop by your local smart dealer and check things out for yourself. There are, I believe, over 100 smart dealers, mostly integrated into Mercedes car dealerships, and over 120 service points. That means you'll naturally receive the utmost care, the best advice, and, alongside attractive purchase prices, also appealing financing and leasing options tailored to fit your individual requirements. Now we're slowly but surely making our way to the lunch spot. It's always such a nice addition to these driving events, having the chance to take a little break and enjoy a good, relaxing lunch together. And when Stefan makes the turn here, we'll also be able to share a quick update with you about how our route has been progressing up to this particular point. We've driven 108 kilometers, you can see that here, I think very, very clearly. 2 hours, 6 minutes driving time, 3 hours were expected. So as you can see, we made good time and achieved an average energy consumption of 32.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. Now we're enjoying a little lunch at this beautiful vineyard here. Left hand, and then we'll take you right back to our hotel. After that, we'll dive into the second part of our journey, to revisit with number 5, Brabus, so you can catch a glimpse of all the incredible locations we're sent to explore and experience. We're all finished with lunch now, and truly got to enjoy some absolutely incredible Portuguese cheese that was unforgettable. That was absolutely a delight. My colleague managed to capture some truly fantastic moments here. I think, Stefan, if you film up to the right, that's probably the winery.
Exactly, up there is the winery, that's where we just came from. And here you have a beautiful view of the valley where all the port wine and such is grown. It's cultivated here. This whole entire region is particularly well known for it.
I honestly wouldn't have expected the area around Porto to be so incredibly mountainous and strikingly beautiful. So here you can really unwind and take the time to fully savor and enjoy your life.
Yes, truly stunning scenery.
Yes, we of course want to experience the Brabus #5. With you once more, in full performance here. 475 kilowatts, 2 electric motors, over 700 Newton meters of torque, a fantastic acceleration with a best of 3.8 seconds from 0 to 100 and a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour. Yes, soon we'll also be hitting the highway for a longer stretch. Naturally, we'll be keeping an eye on how the consumption develops during that time. It's super exciting. Currently, we're still at around 32 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is partly due to the vehicle's design, Stefan.
Absolutely, yeah. The high front ends still make it feel a bit like a bulky, slow-moving wardrobe. Absolutely, and with the 0.3 CW value, that's definitely not the ideal figure for it.
Yes, Smart explained it to us a bit. We, of course, dug deeper, asked questions, pressed further, because we always want to have the best possible answers and results for you. And they said, well, the consumption is irrelevant when it comes to charging power, because of course in 15 minutes you can recharge from 10 to 80% again. But I know that you, just like me, are also little penny pinchers, and naturally, you do tend to keep a pretty close eye on the consumption. Quick question. I'd really love to hear your honest thoughts in the comments, so feel free to share. Do you completely disregard consumption with a car like the #5 because it can charge incredibly fast? Or do you believe we still need a balance between maximum efficiency and a rapid charging speed to ensure it's both practical and sustainable in the long run? We're heading back onto the highway with you now, and of course we want to take a closer look at how the assistance systems, the consumption, and everything else perform here on the highway in Portugal. Here in the tunnel, you can also see the ambient lighting very nicely integrated throughout the interior. In the center speaker, in the Sennheiser boxes, and Stefan, if you glance over to the right, it's also featured in the air vents and the door trim, creating a really cohesive and stylish atmosphere that enhances the overall driving experience. Yes, exactly. You really like it, and even when you pan back, the ambient lighting in the rear continues accordingly. That's always interesting for you to see. How a Smart #5 might look at night, for example. You also have the option to adjust the ambient lighting to match your personal preferences and taste perfectly. Right now we have the standard color, most likely red for a Bravo, which gives it a sleek and dynamic feel, especially in this setting.
Yes, it really fits everything here, the belts and all that.
Finally, we found the setting to enable the piloted lane change here. It now detects the free lane and independently steers onto the left lane, positioning itself toward the center. Of course, we always have to keep a firm grip on the steering wheel. It's now smoothly maintaining the center of the lane. The speed limit here is 120 kilometers per hour, and we're approaching a sharp curve. Let's see how the vehicle handles it. We'll also attempt a lane change while navigating the curve, just to test its capabilities in a more challenging situation. It's not permitting the maneuver. It probably considers it too risky. We're driving straight ahead again, and of course, we'll try it once more. Now it's allowing it and actually executing it, but it stopped. Why? Good question. It wasn't needed at that moment, so we'll give it another try. Yes, and now it's managing the lane change flawlessly all by itself, consistently supported by augmented reality in the head-up display, ensuring I stay completely focused on the road ahead. And it's nicely maintaining the center of the lane again. What it also did really well is adapt when the traffic sign changes and the speed limit shifts, so it automatically adjusts the top speed to match accordingly, ensuring everything stays smooth and compliant. It's a cool story, and what could potentially be added in the future through a software update might be this predictive regulation feature.
Yes, it's spotted early, maybe down in Amsterdam.
Mercedes can actually do that. They're also involved with Smart and Keely, so to speak, and that's of course practical because it means they can anticipate speed changes well in advance, and then they can use sailing or recuperation to smoothly and efficiently adjust the vehicle's speed even before approaching the sign, at the sign accordingly. That would of course be another fantastic enhancement to the adaptive version that's already featured here in the #5. Now it's speed 100. Now it has recognized the speed limit of 100, slows down, just so you can see that it really does have this adaptive function as well. But you're not driving at 100 right at the sign. And that's the advantage if it were predictive, as it would already detect the limit over a very long distance by using a camera system. Hey, 100's ahead. It knows via nav data, so you're at 100 by the sign, depending on the country that happens. A nice photo, quite close behind the sign. And with the adaptive solution, you'd naturally run the risk of braking a bit too late to reach the adjusted speed in time, which could potentially be an issue. We've now driven a good 70 kilometers on the highway, and the energy consumption has also decreased significantly to 30 kilowatt hours for every 100 kilometers traveled. That means we've pretty much always been driving around 120 kilometers per hour right up until we're about to leave here now. In Portugal, that's where it's basically permitted, like back home where the speed limit is 120 kilometers per hour. Yeah, the Autobahn is always a topic when it comes to long-distance travel comfort. Now we have the sportiest version with the Brabus, and we've naturally brought our measurement tool from Germany here to Portugal, which is properly calibrated and ensures a high level of transparency across all manufacturers involved. This tool is the well-known Stefan's per meter. Naturally, we're eager to see how it performed out on the highway under real-world driving conditions.
Well, what can I say? I actually find the seats quite comfortable. I would have liked a bit more side or thigh support though, especially since the Serpentino tends to feel a bit loose. You do tend to slide around a bit in the seats here, but otherwise super comfortable. I can control all the features electrically here as well. I also have seat heating. It's all super cool. In terms of the chassis, I have to say, Huda, I honestly wouldn't have expected it at all. I actually expected it to be a bit stiffer, especially since we're driving the Brabus version. Yes, but it's very comfortable, all things considered. And the suspension works well too, even though it's a steel suspension. It holds the line well. No major body roll or anything. Potholes, bumps, it handles it all superbly. Yeah, I really like it.
I can only agree with that. It's actually almost exceptional that for a vehicle price of 60,900 euros, which means the #5 is almost fully equipped, it really forms such a great overall package. And of course, it's also worth mentioning that these 475 kilowatts from the 2 electric motors with over 700 Newton meters of torque actually deliver on the road and on the road now. When you drive on fast and winding roads, then wow, it really delivers. So I truly believe in that particular aspect, Smart has once more managed to take a solid step forward. You can clearly see that Smart, in collaboration with Mercedes, has decades of expertise in developing such innovations and isn't just a standard Chinese manufacturer. though the car's made in China.
Yes, but it's built there according to European standards, so to speak, and made accordingly to come here, and it's perfectly tailored.
We also saw that in the review where we showed you the car from the outside and inside. The gap dimensions all fit, the build quality, the seams, it's all as if the car were being built right now in Sindelfingen or, I don't know, Neckarsulm somewhere, or in Munich, Dingolfing, wherever, Volkswagen in Braunschweig and Wolfsburg. So from that perspective, you really have to say, they've managed to craft a genuinely impressive piece of automotive engineering, especially the suspension in combination with the travel comfort with the seats. Well, I personally wouldn't have any problem at all driving all the way from Portugal to Neustreit in the #5. How about you?
Nope, not at all. No issues for me, for example.
We'll be arriving at the hotel and reaching our destination very shortly. But I'd like to take a moment to quickly go over the consumption details with you once more. We've now separated the return journey. This, so to speak, is the final trip, 124.1 kilometers from the lunch station now here to the hotel, and we have an average consumption of 26.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, driven at an average speed of 81 kilometers per hour. The drive time was 1 hour 35 minutes. Here we can very clearly see what was used. For the driving itself, 95.3%. For battery heating, 0-0- since it wasn't charging -AC, I'm not entirely sure what's being displayed there. Зрение, низковольтное и другие дополнительные потребители. Yes, we also have the total consumption. Today we drove a total of 232.6 kilometers with the Smart #5 Brabus, covering quite a solid distance throughout the day's journey. Over a span of 3 hours and 45 minutes, we maintained an average speed of 65 kilometers per hour, achieving an energy consumption rate of 29 kilowatt hours for every 100 kilometers driven during the trip. Over here on the left, take a look. That's the entrance to the hotel. And with that, we've essentially arrived back at our destination, you could say, and can now proceed to move ahead, yeah, if you'd like to put it that way, to an interim conclusion. Interim because, as you know, we're still going to get a test car for further tests in Mecklenburg, and of course, our consumption drive with a charging check, which you always absolutely love to watch closely. And I have to say, I'm truly very strongly impressed by the #5 so far.
Yes, blinded might be the wrong word when it comes to me. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yes, but we always say surprised somehow. With every car, we're surprised and find everything amazing or whatever. I'm truly dazzled because this car is just so good. Fuel consumption aside, its design, drag coefficient, and everything else are impressive. We've already discussed that. But as for the charging power, it's absolutely top-notch and unmatched.
Definitely, yes.
Hot starting at 45.9, or the Premium at 55.9, or the Brabus at 60.9. Where else can you get this material mix, these space dimensions, this level of quality with another manufacturer? Practically never. Then there's the German dealer network, integrated with Mercedes under Smart for years. Plus the warranties, a global player that's been in the market for a long time, where you can trust they'll still be around in the coming years. Don't you think so too? All of that combined is just surprisingly good, to the point where I'm honestly completely blown away, because the car must have some flaws, hooks, something where you'd say, find the flaw. So, even if the car here is too big, look, there's the #3 in orange, just such a sleek, compact coupe. And back there, there's the #1 again. So, I have to say, the Smart model lineup, even though it's no longer the Fortwo, where it all began, it's just absolutely insane. So when we're back here, for example, in the interior, where else could you possibly find such an impressive array of infotainment features at this price point? Augmented reality head-up, driver's display, infotainment display. So, with all the latest and greatest features right here. Messages, Apple Cable, Android Auto, media system, Spotify, radio, navigation, video center, 360-degree camera, hats, games. Everything you used to love in the Tesla is still right here with you. Tune in, Amazon Music, Weather Channel. It's open source, so you can watch movies on the passenger display effortlessly. Really awesome stuff here on Spotify, or then also potentially available for purchase here as well, but that's just cutting edge, really cool infotainment. And honestly, I've got to give full respect to Smart for somehow managing to pull that off in such a seamless, impressive, and truly innovative way. Designing and conceptualizing such a car in Germany with Chinese technology, then combining battery, charging tech and so on, drive technology, and then simply producing it in China and launching it here for such a price, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. So, like I said, it's really the whole package in terms of the build quality, performance, charging speed. It's kind of all there.
Then they have their own leasing bank and financing bank where everything just works, and they have decades of experience. Whereas a customer, you know exactly what you're ultimately going to receive. So I have to honestly say, I don't want to make a fanboy video here. That's why I'm saying I'm blown away. I'll be absolutely thrilled if we can get the car as a test vehicle just to gather all these incredible impressions from the past 2 truly amazing days here in Porto once again. In the end, exterior design is always subjective, even that.
Yeah.
So some people like it, others maybe not so much. But I also believe the longer you look at the design, the more you start to like it, right?
Yeah, really. That's definitely true, I'd say, yeah.
So you've got up to 643 liters of trunk space if you load it to the very top. Otherwise, it's around 400 something. Still pretty decent, I'd say. You've got an electric rear seat with comfort features easily fitting 2 adults, 2 kids, or even 4 adults comfortably for longer trips. You have 1.6 tons of towing capacity. You're supposed to have 100 kilos of roof load, where you could even put something like a roof tent on it. You've got a camping mode here, where you can fold down all the seats and comfortably sleep inside the car. So he has huge credit to Smart and Geely. They've been keeping a sharp eye, carefully observing the market trends, what the American supercar maker and the German manufacturers are currently focusing on, what the European manufacturers are doing, what the Asian manufacturers are up to, and somehow bundled it all together into this package here. That's why I'm blinded, even if it's not quite right.
But now, period. Honestly,
I'm out of it. Write in the comments what you think. See it as an ad, see it as a fanboy video. Honestly, I couldn't care less about it. I didn't get anything out of this, just time I gave up for you. Here with Stefan for the video. I'm just stunned. I'm out. Share your thoughts in the comments. And that brings us to the end of our test drive with the hashtag number 5 Brabus right here in the beautiful area near Porto. Enduro arrived. Sick car, insane experience, and I'm genuinely excited to hear how you'll rate it all. Hopefully with a thumbs up for the video, for our work, for the time we've put in. I'd be absolutely thrilled if you could support us with a subscription, just as a thank you maybe for a solid video, and perhaps also in anticipation of the consumption test and the charging check ahead. So we'll meet again, and you'll be notified as soon as the bell rings for the video's release. And then I'll simply say a heartfelt thank you for watching. It was an honor to be here in Porto for you. Thanks to Smart Germany. And I'd say I'm just out, because out is also the Haifischlösser, and that's somehow the perfect finishing cherry on top of the entire cake.
exactly, it's gone. Now we've got this small camera up here for the radar and guidance system. It's all built in here. Wonderful.
I'm kind of a little bit blown away right now.
Yeah, are you a bit in love?